Welcome to the Campervan channel, the YouTube channel for all things campervan. Now, it doesn't matter which generation of transporter you're into, all campervanners have huge respect for the daddy of them all. The original, some would say the cutest, certainly the most expensive, the T1 or the Splitty. Prized possessions though they what are these aging beauties really like to live with? This is what two experienced owners reckon.
This van I've had 13 years, it's a 1960, 11-window, converted by Westfalia. It lived in California for a good part of its life. It's been imported to Europe round about 19 years ago. It lived in Belgium, had a couple of owners, and it found its way back to England, and then I bought it then, and then started a bit of a refurb on it.
This is a 1967 VW split screen camper van. Originally from the factory it was a Canterbury pit design. It's had a few iterations since, but now is sort of what we'd call a dormobile route. It's got an upgraded engine and suspension for easier travelling than the camping that we do.
25 years ago I saw this particular model, not this van, a mango green Westfalia SO23. And that's what I wanted, but they're not that common and there's not many come for sale, so I've had half a dozen other splits in the build-up to finding this.
We've had Ruby for 6 years. We had a decision of, do we wait till we're retired or do we look for one now? And we said, let's do it. So it was sort of love at first sight, really.
If you're initially looking for a split and you've never owned a classic vehicle before, or an older type of thing, they do take quite a bit getting used to. When you drive it, you're used to your braking distances on modern cars. You need to double that. You've got to look a long way ahead and anticipate what the traffic's doing. On junctions, you make sure your indicators have cancelled, the dash indicator don't work, and then cars will pull out on you. You're just being aware all the time, you know. You've got a bit of a drift side to side. They do track road, follow the grooves in road, but that's the way they are and they were. You got a warm air that just gets trickled to front by the engine fan that's running. So you ain't got the best demisting, the best cab heating, but you get used to it.
You can never do enough research. We did look around, probably a little bit too naive in what we were doing, but if people ask us today, taking along somebody who has experience, a mechanic, somebody who's got experience of these, what we did do, which we found was very useful, was to go away for 5 days. We hired a bay window from a company in the New Forest, had 5 days there, realised it was something that, yes, we would be interested in, but if we were to buy one, there would be certain things that we would look for, you know, the engine, the brakes, the gearing, what that would be like in the one that we would buy.
There's quite a lot of early ones knocking about now that's got revived, like a lot of barn finds and forest finds, and lads do make a good job and they fetch them back from nothing. Like a few years ago, wouldn't have been economical, but there's some good restorers out there now and they do make, you know, they do get them back to life. Most of the rot-free ones are left-hand drive because they've come from California and places like that. There's some dry climate buses about which are right-hand drive, which, you know, if you're uncomfortable, you're left-hand drive.
The temptation to buy something from a web page is all too easy. Typically, if you've wanted one since you were a small child, then if you see the right colour or the right looking vehicle, that could be enough for you to part with money. You probably spend more time researching to buy a new phone than you do to buy a £50,000 vehicle. The temptation is quite real, and some people will get caught out if they're not careful. Pulling away some of the kickboards to see the wiring behind, and, you know, lifting certain panels underneath, perhaps using a magnet, you know, have you got metal or have you got filler? Is it a rabbit's nest of wiring underneath, or is it recently rewired? There will be people that will want to try and recoup the money that they might have invested in one. They might be selling one because they're emigrating and leaving. So, you know, the prices will range from 10,000 to 80,000. So if you're prepared to wait, they crop up a respectable price. If you're desperate for one and love can't, you can't wait because you want one, then you pay what you want to pay.
I'd have preferred them for the market to stop affordable to all the enthusiasts like it was for a long time. It did seem to shoot up and get overheated. Saying that, they have come down the last couple of years. There's a lot of splitties for sale, circa 20 grand and less, which is more affordable than the 50, 60,000, 70,000 what a lot were fetching. There's still certain vans like Sambas and the rare ones, this is quite rare, barn doors, they fetch a premium because of the desirability of them from the hardcore owners. Your general person that looks at a split and they think it's like a caricature, it's like a cartoon, and they want that, there's affordable vans knocking about now that's had restoration done, and they could sort of buy one of them for less money than what's been spent on them. There's people who've got a lot of money in them that they're not going to get back. Like any car, the basic rust protection that they put on these vans 60 years ago is not up to modern stuff. There's your sills, Americans call them rockers. There's your sills, your wheel arches, anywhere that can rot will rot. I've had some English vans and they have rotted from the inside out, and when you start looking you're thinking, how bad can this get? And it does get bad, depending on how they've been looked after. But then, opposite end of the scale, you get one that's been looked after and it's been garaged all its life and it's had one fastidious owner. They're surprising they're like as good as a California van. You're looking for previous bad repairs, dangerous repair to the mechanical side as well.
When you go to buy one, have a magnet with you. Is it a vehicle that's full of filler? Does it have the original metal? Luckily, there's lots of replacement parts. It's a very popular brand. There's a number of online companies that sell parts going back to the early iterations, but even the prettiest, most beautiful vans will have some work that needs doing. And again, when you're going to buy one, if it looks too clean and too good, has it been freshly painted to cover up something? So good old-fashioned magnet to see if it sticks or not will answer all the questions that you need to know. Originally it would have come out with either a 15 or a 1600cc engine. For us, doing the miles that we do, the luggage that you want to carry, the hills that you want to climb, and I suppose the availability of bigger engines, it made sense for us to get upgraded. It actually has what came out of a Beetle originally, so it's a 1914, so nearly a 2-litre engine in there. It'll do 65, 70 miles an hour if you wanted it to, quite happily. The engine is quite simple, so there will be sort of the regular air-cooled engine maintenance that you would do, so sort of replacement of the oil change, checking the valves, the timing and those types of things, which is no different to any classic car really of these ages.
If you can do the basic servicing yourself, that's another big factor. Make sure you try and get the best parts to use, not just the budget parts, because eBay's full of, there's some rubbish on eBay, because at the end of the day, your life's in its hands, isn't it? If you're on the road, you don't want to be crashing, do you?
In terms of the things that typically go wrong, the engines are very reliable. The reasons why they've been so successful is the simplicity of the engine. There isn't the water, so there's only the oil to spin round. Assuming you've got fuel and a spark, it will run.
They need servicing every 3,500 miles, an oil change and a check, a valve check and stuff like that. The basic and greasing, there's grease nipples still on your beam, stuff like that. You can tell a van that's been looked after and a van that's had 30 owners and that's been left for 20 years. There's a difference. It's like anything else, like your house, isn't it? You get good owners and bad owners.
You then move to things like the wiring. Typically over 50, 60 years, people have tried to attach different electrical items, stereos, heaters, and what would have been a very beautiful, simple wiring turns into a rat's nest. Knowing how to maybe troubleshoot a bad earth, which is typically the most common thing, is that a wire has shorted somewhere.
I've been running air-cooled Volkswagen vans 20 years. I've had one breakdown, I've had one recovery because I had a blocked fuel pipe. I think I've done 30,000 in this since I've had it. My other vans, I've got one with a bigger motor in. I've probably done 15,000 in that around Europe. Stuff does fail. You don't know if your distributors, your points are going to stick together, or your electronic ignition is going to fail, or you get a brake cylinder weep. They're the things that you can't, engineer out. I do take spares. I've got a spare throttle cable, a spare clutch cable. I've got a flexi brake pipe. I've got a spare distributor. Because you go as a group sometimes, and somebody has a bit of a little glitch, you all get together and you try and mend it. Mechanical wise, just don't abuse them. Just change the oil, don't thrash them to death, and just go with flow and go like you're on holiday.
For us, it's the best thing. We're so glad that we purchased it when we did. If we had the opportunity to have purchased it earlier, we would have done, but knowing now what we know, if we'd waited another 15 years and then started it, we really would have regretted. So yeah, do it. Just do it.
If I sold it and I put the money in bank, right, what do? You just look at how much money you've got in bank. So to me, I didn't buy it as an investment. I bought it because I wanted one.
The community and the people that have the same vehicles, it's as strong as you could possibly wish it to be. If there was somebody had a problem they couldn't get home, somebody would come on the tannoy, somebody would have a spare part. If you do have a problem or you want advice, there's plenty of people to help.
You get that buzz out of them, that old feeling. It's mad really.